Hi guys, let's start a little bit earlier. I'm going to let you watch Safi watching her program because that's what she feels. The live is all about her, if after all this is a cat tarot. So I'm still having lots of downloads, guys. So let's discuss little things before we do the readings. And readings are going to be relatively short because I do have something to tell you, and it could be a little bit of a doomsday message, but it isn't, because it's giving you kind of like tools to kind of like deal with that. All right, so Steffi, should we let them have the music? In addition to this, let's do the music as well. There we go. Let's start with the music. And you can watch it while the music is on. I guess Elvis has left the building, aka Savi. And I think this is the last time I have it on the repeat, so let's not repeat. Let me see who is there. Hello, hello, hello everybody. I'll stop this kitty movies. Oh my gosh, good morning. I see a few of you guys. How is everybody? Did we meet on the other side? I believe we did. Look at that, South Africa. Hello. Then we have the United States. Then we have Australia over here. And I really hope we guys ended up on the other side. And I mean, I am still being woken up from the sleep, and I'm getting downloads at this stage and getting them all while I'm awake. So that means they're very serious. That means, because usually I used to get them in dream, and then if I didn't write them down, I would sometimes forget, including forgetting my lottery numbers, which really sucks. But ooh, look, we have Europe, we have Scotland, and so Bay Area. Good morning, good morning. Hey, you two guys, can you stop? Two mostly Scorpios talking to each other. So yes, we did have this big global protest yesterday, guys, and this is one of the subjects that is something that I fear. You know, some people fear this kind of like red guy with a pitchfork, you know, with a kind of like triangular tail, aka devil. I actually really fear global weather change, really do. And maybe this is why I was getting this information. So I'm going to really tell you, if you're interested, what I heard. And it's really not good news, to be honest with you. really worries me about my future, because I'm sort of like mid-40s, I'm middle-aged, right? And things are going to change dramatically. I mean, dramatically. Within the next 5 years. We just cannot remedy things anymore. I know they invented this CEO machine, kind of like suck up and stuff, but I think it's beyond repair. So what I have seen the parts of the globe, and almost like the haze over it. So I'm gonna have a sip of coffee, and it's not going to happen. You know, 40s are really nice, guys. I mean, on a really good day, I look like I'm in late 30s. Really bad day. Oops, let's not talk about it. So anyway, guys, what I've seen droughts. Like, am I pronouncing this? Like drought, like when everything kind of like dries out. So United States, majority of that is going to be a desert. And Europe, Southern Europe, for sure, is going to be desert. My dear Croatia, it's going to be desert. India, Pakistan, desert. Everything around Ecuador, non-livable. The islands, Jamaica, Bahamas, Bermudas, like Dominican Republic, flooded. Doesn't exist anymore. They will still kind of like be quote unquote like little kind of like peaks, but they will not exist anymore. And I'm not talking distant future, guys. I'm talking like this might be within 20 years. So the migration will be happening in huge numbers, right? So temperatures will continue to rise. So like, I mean, we thought we had hot summer or hot summers, or like, I mean, a few of them, but this is going to continue. Vegetation is going to be bigger and bigger because we don't really have frost anymore to kind of like regulate things. So I don't know how it is where you live. I have noticed in Toronto we have lots of wild parsnip, which is really poisonous. It was like 6-7 feet tall, which usually grows like, I mean, up to like 4, maximum 5, and it was like thick like a freaking forest, and the city was coming to cut it, right? So it's going to be lots of rain, and the problem is the weather is going to be hot, but it's not going to be like that we in Canada can celebrate, yay, in Canada we're going to be the new Florida. No, it's going to be crappy. It's going to be raining a lot, and I mean, it's good for the crops, but there will be lots of heat waves, and the water is going to warm up. It's already warming up, I think. I think they measured it in Arctic. Antarctica is going to melt entirely. The sea level is going to raise up to 6 meters. 6 meters would be 18 feet, even more, maybe 20 feet. Hurricanes are going to be mostly 4 and 5 categories, so you can just imagine the devastation that is going to happen. And in particular, I've seen kind of certain regions of the world that will be okay, but most of them won't be okay. So Canada is going to be okay. So I guess I picked the right country to be in. I was also thinking logically before, well, you know, Scandinavia and Russia, all these northern parts will be okay, but they won't be okay. Scandinavia is not going to be okay. They're going to have high CO emissions. And Asia is not going to be okay. Indian subcontinent is not going to be okay. Australia, the western part is going to be okay. New Zealand is going to like thrive. It's going to be massive food production kind of like part for that part of that thing. For Canada, it will be Ontario and Nunavut, which is sort of like just a province north of Ontario. That will be really, really good, and I think that's also going to be a massive production. I think the borders will be closing within 5 to 10 years, especially us in North America, which we kind of like can produce things like we can isolate with oceans. It's not really easy to get here, so that's going to be pretty much it from what I see. And since I have lots of Americans here, so in the Northeast, guys, so we are talking kind of New York and that kind of like coast over there, it's going to be lots of heat waves, and also like just the same thing as here, lots of rain, and it's going to be like that huge sea level rise. And I was like even digging on the internet. I probably should do a specific video about that. that New York is already building their little kind of like wall around the harbor. Manhattan's real estate is really expensive, and I think it's going to be 4 feet kind of like wall, which is going to be kind of immediate, and it's kind of projected to kind of like be built up and up. And so I really think, you know, that is going to really affect infrastructure. It's going to affect, like, I mean, fish. It's going to affect that kind of industries. So if I look in the northwest, so we're talking, like, I mean, Washington, and we're talking, like, I mean, Oregon over there, you are going to be fine over there. And even though, like, I mean, it's going to be a little bit issue with water supplies over there, so you will probably depend on Canada, and you'll probably try to sap into the under like, I mean, underground kind of like waters. You're also going to have the elevation of sea, and ocean is going to become acidic, right? Because you do know that all these toxins are basically contained in the ice. That kind of like will be happening. So insects are going to really be a problem over there, and you're going to have lots of tree diseases in that particular segment. So you go Midwest, that's going to be, because not everything that I've seen was like progressing with the same speed. Midwest is going to progress the most, and that can be a desert region. And that's going to be really everything extreme, like heat and water and flooding. That's going to be huge. And especially like here, what we have these Great Lakes can be really affected, like going south, right? And then like you have basically southeast and southwest, so also sea rise. And again, in the west, I keep seeing this insects. California, never mind, does not freaking exist anymore. As I told you guys, I love you guys in California, but it takes specific mindset. That's going to be one of the first things to go, right? And so you guys will be really dealing with water supplies, and I really think it's going to be massive exodus, not only from the States to Canada, but also from the other countries to this little narrow snippet of what's going to happen. So New Zealand, Western Australia, Canada, and the little kind of like over the northern strip, sort of like of the States, you know how you guys look like that. I have seen only this part here, as I said, Oregon and Washington. And like then this kind of like thin strip that I've seen on the kind of like the globe on the top, right? And then like a little bit of New York, and I think Maine is also going to be good. Everything that sort of like is a little bit north of Canadian border. So this is like starting with a doomsday. The future for Estonia, unfortunately, is also going to be unlivable. It's going to be too freaking hot. And this is like scary, because honestly I was like really planning to kind of like I was like contemplating moving to Croatia, and I said, okay, well, when it's time to retire, I'll move there. And I actually seen over the last 2 nights that was happening, that I'm telling you, I seen Croatia as a desert. It's really too freaking hot, which is interesting because now it has the climate of New York and Toronto, and it's just not going to be possible, I guess, because of all these waters and etc. that are happening. So I guess this is a bad news, but the good news is, like, now that you know it, you can contemplate where you really want to go and how you want to go. Maybe you want to relocate somewhere. There's like still window of opportunity, because if you're in these regions, you won't be able to sell the house, properties, or anything. Like within 5 years, it's going to be self-evident what is happening. And we will continue having, we will continue to elect leaders like Trump or even Trudeau. And this is not a political statement. I have something to say about politically, but I'm not going to say this on this channel because this is not the room and place. But we're going to be electing leaders that will sidetrack us from what is important. And we'll be dealing with a whole bunch of nonsense and crap and photographs from freaking high schools, and instead of dealing with what is important. So hello, I know if you watch the Seinfeld episode, one episode, I think Elaine was bleeding, and she wanted to be taken to the hospital with Seinfeld and George, and they were like blabbing something up, and she said, "Well, I'm going." She said, "Where are you going?" She said, "Just follow the freaking blood trail." So maybe something is really more important, like when, you know, like you're bleeding, than really looking at somebody's photograph, kind of a thing. So we need to kind of like focus that everything is probably done for a reason. This is kind of like thrown to us as masses to kind of like play with. So I had like this huge paradigm shift over here. Huge. So, sorry guys, I didn't really want to be doomsday, but like, I mean, I was getting ridiculously amount of these messages, and the fact that they're happening right now when I'm awake are draining me. I'm completely drained the last few days, and I wanted to do the X readings yesterday, and I literally couldn't lift a finger how drained I was. So what I'm going to do today, and I don't know if Barbie's here. Hi Barbie. I'm not going to do doors today, Barbie. And the reason I'm going to doors is this is going to be a little bit shorter readings today, because I just really want to check certain things out. But I am going to do, in the end, Lenormand. And Lenormand is going to be just like a weekly situation, and I was like even thinking doing Lenormand for everybody. So this is not necessarily applying to the sign, it's applying to all of us who are watching this, because we all would be contributing to the energy. So you guys who are on live, for sure you're going to get like a little bit more of that energy. So we will try with this little deck later. So I also did something, since it's still Libra's birthday, so pardon me, Virgo's birthday, and Libra is starting in 2 days. And guess what? During that transit, holy moly, how many of you guys are on my newsletter? Like, something is going to happen. Poo-poo is going to hit the fan. Like, people will not tolerate things. People will say it's enough, you did this to me, and I'm no longer going to listen to you. Off you go. We have already made these decisions, and that's what I was urging you. And I'm so sorry that I gave you only 1 day, because just like this thing that I'm telling you right now, it has been brewing in my head for 6 months. But I thought, oh my gosh, these people will think I'm freaking nuts. And like, in my astrology is knowledge is not conventional, so I'm kind of like looking at things in a completely different way. I'm kind of like using mythology and then trying to see what makes sense. And of course, like, this huge thing to start debating with you will go, oh my gosh, Kat, I really have a headache. So that's pretty much how I felt for a while. And then all of a sudden I said, okay, I figure out the way how to explain this, to do that. So hopefully that is what's going to happen. Well, Sally, I really hope I'm not, because like truly what was happening to me, it was really weird. Sure, I have this intuition, yeah, I do, but that was something. Like, I'm seeing these maps and seeing this freaking yellow. It almost like looked like this was like somebody was explaining to me. It was like not a human. It was like something. Oh man, did you see that movie Abyss? It was like almost like a water kind of creature, but it wasn't water. It could have been smoke. And all I could see is just the shapes and pointing to this freaking map, and it was no communication, it was no words, but I knew what they were telling me. It was one creature that somehow rolled up in a whole bunch of small ones. It kind of like it could propagate, like, I mean, just in second like that. It was like from that one, it was like a whole bunch of the others around. It was like freaking amazing, but I was like not afraid. So would be really weird. Yeah, so you know, Kylie, in Abyss, how that water came and talked. That's kind of like how I felt in that vision. And like, and I kept being walk up and walk up and walk up. I said, oh my god, right, what is going on over here? I can even show you, because on my Fitbit, you know, like they do this sleep patterns here. Can you see this? All these red parts are like when I am walking up, and look at that. You can totally see this. You can see this like deep deep sleep, where I kind of like really went, where all the communication started to happen, and you can see interaction and puff, and you can see, okay, here I'm getting information, here I'm getting information, and these are like kind of long periods, as you can see, like for a good half an hour. So that I think was, yeah, that was today, last night, similar thing yesterday. Look at that, look at that, tap 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 tap. It's the freaking same thing. And even if you look it down, look at this, not as much, as you can see they are thinner, but now I know what's going on over here. So all right, guys. And Kylie had like really interesting email that she sent to me. I think, Kylie, you were getting downloads, and I hear Steve did it as well. I'm pretty sure all of you, because you guys pretty much have a similar energy to mine. So what I did, guys, I have the first 4 top signs. What app is that? This is Fitbit. And so my Fitbit connects to, so basically I'm wearing this. Well, one, I'm trying to lose weight and see how much activity I have. But Fitbit has this one thing that they actually really measure your sleep. And you can see this in every single thing. So yeah, shift has happened, guys. And if you guys didn't do anything about that, or you're feeling, you know, that you have to go back to the old patterns, you have now 12 years to swim in that soup. And if you were ready to move to the new timeline, and I think you are, and I think all of you did, that's why we are here, then it's almost like a fresh, it's like almost like being newborn. And even though it was like full moon in Pisces, it's going to close entirely on the 30th. And then we are going to go, I believe, on the 30th. And then we'll go in the new moon in Libra. And new moon in Libra, all of you, you need to, it's another opening, celestial opening. We really need to ask for justice and things to actually equalize in our life. And whenever it really didn't work, because we're on a new timeline, we are going to be given. Ask and you will be given. Was it Matthew? And don't ask me, I'm not a religious person. So, but I just like studied like religion, because it did actually make sense in a big thing. So that's what it is. So something has happened in the background. That's Saturn. Saturn walked in, and Saturn is disciplinarian. And then you have like a Saturn is karma, right? And Jupiter is justice. So karmic justice. And remember, I kept for a year telling you karmic soulmates, issues, people are triggering you. I kept telling you, right? But now it is what it is, you know. So Saturn is almost like deciding, okay, so I have grades 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 1, 2, 3, you passed. With 3, I'm going to give you some lessons, but you passed, right? 4 and 5, you didn't. So it's going to be you 1, you 2, you 3, you, off you go, 4 and 5s. This is exactly what's going to be happening for freaking 15 years. Last time, for 12 years, pardon me. Last time, I did not pass. So, keep that in mind. It was really, really tough. And then you learn the lessons and messages in a much harsher way. Another sip. So, Ladybug, you're a single empty nester. Life just flipped. It was a shock. Yeah, you know what? I'm getting it from freaking everybody. Sally, you also sent me an email, right? And Kylie sent me email. I had 2 more ladies. They sent me email that they're not over here. And I'm like, I started feeling so guilty. And I said, oh my God. And I'm having this information and I'm not telling you. And I was not telling because I was really afraid that you guys going to think that Cat lost it. That I'm like off the deep end kind of thing, right? And then I said to myself, and if I don't tell them, isn't this going to be worse? They're going to say you had this information and you didn't. That's why I release it everywhere. But guys, in the future, the stuff, just to prevent the world thinking I'm crazy, I'm going to really release to my newsletter. So just make sure you're there. So as I said, the first 4 signs I am selecting 2 Virgo because it's still your birthday and happy belated to the last week. It's still a couple of more days, and then Libra. So Virgo and Libra will go first, and then Leo is still dominating, like in the views, and Cancer, but everything else I took it out of my hat, out of like the bowl, and I'm going to go in that order. But as I said, it's not going to be intense. It's going to be really quick reading this time around. And then I'm going to do Grand Tableau Lenormand. A client and a friend of mine actually sent me something recently about another woman who's charging $490 for Lenormand Grand Tableau. And I said, ooh. And like, I mean, when you get my reading, when I feel Lenormand is needed, it is just included, right? And so it's $490 American. So I said, okay, maybe I should start offering Lenormand readings because I'm actually really good at it. So we are starting with Virgo. Happy birthday. Like Libra moon here. So anybody Virgo here, please, when I call the and I'm not going to go and put the stuff, I'm just going to go faster. So intro is about doomsday, and Gabi, what's her name, Barbie, I'm going to try to figure out differently. I'm using this rocket book, right? So you can basically right here, right, that's where I write my notes, and you can also erase it. And the best part is, like, when you write, you know, then you can just, where the heck is my phone? You should be able to upload it, but you should also be able to upload it as a text file, right? So, I don't know if you can see it. Right, you have to be higher. So there it is, it's uploaded. So now, as you can see, it gets here, and then it can be translated to text. I have to figure out to help Barbie do it. So ever since I didn't invent this, ever since I discovered this, thank you Amazon Prime Day, it was like something really useful about it. I mean, this is amazing. No more cutting trees, that we can actually really do this recycling. Yeah, it's called Rocketbook. So guys, this is not cheap. It's about $40 Canadian. So that's about 30 American. But like, you never ever have to have a notebook after this. So it's sort of thin, right? As you can see. But these are my notes about the stuff that I was like sending you in a newsletter. But it's really, really useful. So Virgo, let me just put this. All right, Virgos. Happy birthday to Virgo. Happy birthday. Creative girl, like, go for it. Like, it's like freaking addictive. It's addictive, and I'm thinking to get a smaller one, but you know, it's almost like, why? Like, you already have one, right? Okay. Virgo, and Virgo. Virgo, you have Mother of Swords, the Star, and you have a Four of Wands. This is like, I almost like said Wild West, Wild Unknown Tarot. It is one of my favorites. I don't know, it's always kind of weird because all my friends have that deck because I was like so crazy about it, and nobody kind of connected with it, and so I have the extra copies from them that they have given me. And why is this doing this to me? I would like you to see, there we go. I would like you to see this better. And let me get an angel card as well. Kylie, what is saying? Could you please suggest homework for those of us getting through these experiences in your newsletter? Yes, I can. I absolutely can. And I know it is expensive, guys, but I also would advise you going through my tarot school. Tarot school would clearly also give you, what is a huge advantage of my tarot school is the Reiki part, because I'm teaching tarot through Reiki, and I'm opening every student to 11 and 12 chakras, not 7. You guys immediately, you know how I was explaining Merkaba the last time? And I was hoping I'm going to lose weight to be able to be in front of camera, but I think I really have to overcome this shyness and just be there, so kind of like see you face to face and really start talking about all of that, right? You know, one woman in the park grabbed my Fitbit and she said, "You have all the 10,000 steps. Like, no wonder you're fat." I said, "Oh, Jesus." You and I are not going on the same timeline, and I'm going to lose weight, and you will always be ugly. So, opportunity over here. So, let's see. Virgo, this is freaking phenomenal. This is not typically you. You guys, you kind of like your, you like gentle approach. You like to, I would not say collaborate. You are not a Libra, that you kind of like have this like huge sense of unity. But this is really telling me that your energies will be so much higher than usual, right? So Mother of Swords is like the Queen of Swords, and Queen of Swords is like somebody who has been seasoned. You've been through lots of things. You've seen things, and now you totally know that things and how things work for you. So if somebody says, "Let's do it differently," you will go, "Yeah, you know what? It's not that I don't trust you. This is all lovely, but right now, in kind of like saving time, let's do it the way that is tried and true." And that is like what Queen of Swords does. She's kind of like maybe been hurt, but she did kind of like manage to get out of that in a really good way, with understanding, hey, I do have scars, and scars don't hurt anymore, but they still remind me each and every time when I see them what I've been through, right? So the star is about this like huge hope and huge healing coming through. So this card is healing on 7 chakra levels, right? And if card is properly done, and that's why it's like really hard for me to find an artist who can do the stuff for me, it should have a 7 small stars, and here it has more, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, which is wrong. It looks nice, but it's wrong, because it's supposed to 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Why not? Like, I mean, 5 more then. Like, I mean, I guess 9 10, there is 1 more here. Okay, yeah, this is what happens. You have, oh, look at that. This is like your card hiding right underneath. And this is like, Virgo, I know you do not like Aquarians very much. Yeah, we know this much, right? But hello, do you know that you and Aquarians have a little elastic spiritual bond around us? That this is like, and I am that ideal Aquarian that can connect, because I have huge amount of Virgo in me, and we both go into this contemplation kind of like mode. This is like a huge healing that is taking place. It is like huge progress, moving it forward. Like, I mean, and look at this opportunity. It almost looks like ching, but this is like really about some kind of like positivity and positive growth. This is about going to the next level. Almost looks like the eyes looking at you, and there it is, the devil. I'm going to start seeing this devil as very much global warning, global warning and warming, and something that maybe happens like that on the personal level. Isn't this amazing? Look at this, the devil, the justice. We kind of like have all the freaking players showing up over here for you. So you guys are going to be full of inspiration, full of insight, and almost like looks like there is some kind of chance that you have been waiting for kind of quite a while, and that you were not successful, or you felt that each time you would come to the door, they would just slam in your face. And now, and maybe to a point, you know, this elephant in India, they train them with this like chains, and then they don't even run even when it's fire, and they basically die in fire because they're like conditioned. So maybe some of you almost got conditioned that things are not going to get better, right? No more. Try to knock on the same doors. Grab it. Open it. You have been waiting for it, and now it is time. What is offline? What do you mean it's offline? Come on, YouTube. It's really, really important, right? So you guys are going to be manifesting something, especially in your career, especially if it comes to real estate, buying and selling. But also, this really tells me you might be attracting romance into your life. 4 freaking major arcanas, guys. 4. This deck is only seen uprights, right? Because I'm reading it differently. And I maybe should step away from this pen. So, Aquarians, Virgo, Libra, Capricorn are very, very, very strong, as well as the air signs, as well as the earth signs, really strongly coming in your life. Why? And again, it's that Aquarian Virgo connection, and it's again about that kind of like bond. So you have to figure out what you hate about Aquarians, because that's exactly the thing that you need to resolve in order to open that door, my dear Virgo. Like, I mean, what can I tell you? This actually is pretty good, but just you will have to kind of excel yourself and push yourself on the next level. So you're being invited to go to the next floor or something if you really wish. So let me mix it up a little bit over here. I know the rainbows, I have these things. I bought a whole bunch of things like this. I'll show you, and this is how I do my Christmas tree. I was thinking I'm going to start also interior decorating channel, because I don't know how many you know, this is one of my passions, and I do interior decorating with energy in mind. So I'm using feng shui principles. So I invite this to my life. So this is everywhere on my window, and the Christmas tree is usually made with these as well, in order to kind of, because you know, guys, in the winter the sun is lower, and hence it kind of like you get more sun in your west and south windows, so hence you can get more light coming through. And when you get rainbow, this is highly healing, right? So, well, you are the devil, Chris. So this is going to be very, very powerful for you. This is going to be really important, Chris, and it's also a very good fit. All right, so yeah, like this is the plan, and the plan is like I have so many plans, and then I just get exhausted. So hopefully I'll be able to start putting them in practice, and these downloads are obviously important. So the next one is going to be Libra. So Libra. A sip of my Americano. Libra. Let's open this even curtain more, and you should probably see even more. Can you see them everywhere? You should see more of the rainbows happening here. I cannot tell you, if you are depressed, how this energy heals. It is like freaking spectacular. Just sitting like in this rainbow thing, and you know how they say you can never walk under the rainbow? Oh boy, you can. Just do this, what I'm telling you, and you're almost like getting that spiritual scan. So Libra, Barbie is Libra. Do we have any other Libra? I am Ascendant Libra, which is screwing up my life majorly. I cannot pass anything by. I see injustice, and I will immediately get angered. I will immediately have to step in. Like some people just, no, I didn't see anything, just look the other way, blah, blah, blah. Not freaking me. And like I forget these people are bigger and stronger and more powerful than me, but it's like, kind of a thing. And don't even get me going when people start abusing animals. Oh my gosh, I'm able to murder them. So Libra, again, and Libra reading is going to be very important. Things will be happening during Libra transit. You have Earth, very powerful over here, guys, as well. You have like 5 of Pentacles. So I think you guys are having issues with money. You have issues with progress in your career. You are approaching your birthday and you're starting to think in a little kind of like different way. You kind of like are thinking, well, I want a little bit more fun in my life. Where is my thing? I want kind of like different people. I think you're realizing that you almost like need elixir of youth. And that one is really easy to get, guys. Super easy. One, it's a B vitamin that will help you. Two, being around younger people, singing and dancing and jumping and freaking get a dog, meeting all kinds of people where, you know, like you have all kinds of rather superficial kind of like conversations, but nonetheless, it's taking you out of your shell. You guys will be really thinking about this, but almost like you'll be thinking in the wrong direction. I do not like the devil card here, so I cannot claim, unless this is a Capricorn or you have another earth sign happening over here. This devil here is talking about, remember how I said I'm going to talk about the global warming and global warming and individual issues on your sign. Oh, look at that. Were they together like the last time, or did I not mix them up? I think this is you guys. You see, you need to shed something in order for you to appear. And I absolutely love this card. An Ascension over here. Oh my gosh, yes, it is really clear to me what's going on. You guys have a dark side, or maybe this is not so much dark side as much as that you have been pushed against the wall. Maybe there were issues, maybe things were not going well, but this is like really looking in kind of like a financial issues, right? It's like Five of Pentacles is like usually in a traditional deck. Ooh, I have to see you, like I'll show you in this deck. I don't know if you guys remember. It's about, you know, these people walking in front of the church, and you know, they're looking, you know, in the warmth in the church, but for some reason they're not coming in. That also could be about some relationship. I want to show you in a cat deck for those of you who are not exactly familiar with all the things, because it has a little bit different rendition over here. But this, to me, guys, very much like this one, can talk about third-party relationships. And in this deck, Justice card is number 8. And I do not follow this card as number 8. I follow this card as number 11. So you're getting that highly healing energy that basically Virgo got through Star card. You're getting it here through Justice card. Okay, can't focus and find this card for Libra. So I can really kind of like give you a little bit two sides of the story, because I see both. I see people who didn't transverse on the other side, and I also see people who did. So I have to give you both information. Oh my gosh, my intuition is like so freaking high, and I guess guys, you would not be able to guess that I have a tremendous headache right now because of all this. Almost like, of course, it was like penultimate card. So here it is, the rendition of this card over here. Look at this. The rose has lost its beauty, and even the petals are starting to fall off over here. This is never a nice sight. But did you ever feel sad about this rose happening? I guess if you're an idiot, right? But generally we know that this is just simply a regenerative process, right? So in this deck, it will be really hard to interpret it, but I have to say this, and this is why I told you initially it came to me, well, something is coming to an end. Maybe you guys are losing your job. Maybe there's redundancy. Maybe they're like, you know, cutting down certain things, and you're like wondering how to go further, right? Same thing here. The kitty cat, I don't know if you can see it, I'll put it closer, is like in the snow, really looking, and I don't know if you can see it. There are two cats, probably Sapphire Matrix, curled up. They have food, they have warmth, there is a fireplace, and a beautiful home. So it almost like makes us feel for this freaking cat, right? Cats sleep right in the snow, and you will give them a choice between hot and you know, fireplace and even snow, and no, snow it is, because they have the protective shield. I am not afraid for you, Madame and Mr. Libra. There are like certain things that are happening. You simply need to shed certain freaking old things over here, and something that is happening. Remember how I said you're not supposed to feel sorry about things that are leaving, because if you do, then I'm sorry, you are on the old timeline, and you'll be dealing with issues for 12 years. So I'm seeing here that some people are really looking in the past and are getting stuck. Maybe like you did move to the new timeline, or maybe you are right on a doorway and asking yourself, oh, what do I do? And how do I move forward? Maybe it is really hard for you to make this decision, and that's why you have this, the devil. It's, oh my gosh, the devil that we know is better than the devil we don't know, and being with this man or being with this woman is so much better than, oh my gosh, I would have to be out there. I can totally hear that kind of like time, like that kind of like thinking going through it. And yet you are Libra, you are air sign, you're not Pisces, right? You are not by, oh sure, just like, I mean, hurt me, but come back to me, hurt me. But no, you guys also got this card. It says take action. And look at this star showing up here. This is almost like celestial. It's almost like a Knight of Swords that is coming through it. So you guys have to see things from a different perspective. And look at these majors. Same thing here. You need to recall who you are, and you're starting to ascend to this kind of like new level. So stop procrastinating, stop feeling uncertainty. Third party relationships, no, they gotta go. People who leave you feel inadequate, people who make you sit at home and cry and you are wondering why you're not with them. Well, how about you decide you're not with them and you go elsewhere? That is like clearly what it is. You guys will be really focused this particular week on career, on relationships, and also how to fulfill your wishes. You have everything you need. You guys, oh my gosh, this keeps getting better. Look at that. The Lovers card. And then we have yet another 8 over here. You guys are going to have somebody new coming in your life. You just need to let go either somebody old or third party. I mean old, maybe old person, but old partner, old patterns. Like something has to be let go. But look at this. Air. You have like all the freaking air signs showing up here. There's like time to move forward. The Hangman is talking about sacrifice. The Hangman is saying there's like something you need to do in life that is not going to be comfortable. It will need it to be different, but if you do it, things are going to get better. This clearly talks about good choices. This still talks about somebody's knocking on your door and they choose you and you choose them. It is kind of neutral. So if you don't take action, you will go back to that devil card. So don't let the heat become too hot where you will not be able to handle it anymore. So Leo, my dear Leo, let's check what is in a store for you. So no, we didn't do Aqua yet. Aqua is 6th one today. Leo, thank you very much. I really have to be grateful. You guys are pushing and propelling my channel forward. It is really, really amazing, right? Well, not making a decision, like people say, that's the Hangman, whole purpose of Hangman, saying you need to have that paradigm shift. That's what happened to me this last week, and about this global warming, right? And if you don't, it's going to be same old. I think things are going to appear the same. What was this guy? What's his name? Alexander Fleming? Am I saying the right name? The guy who invented penicillin? Well, he was seeing his bread rotting away and this green freaking mold many times, but he never really thought that, well, let me take this crap and ingest it because, hey, I might heal myself. But then he observed that things got better with birds. And then he realized I have to do it. So at one point, certain things click. It's the same old, but you're seeing it in a different way, right? So, hello, Kathy. So, let's see. Cross watching for Leo. So, this is my moon in Leo. Very important sign for me. There we go. We have the moon. This is clearly talking to me. Oh, we have the Wheel of Fortune, 2 majors. Mother of Wands, and this is you guys. The messages are so freaking strong, and I really wanted to make it easy on me today, and Spirit is saying, nope, we are using you really need to communicate all these kind of like messages. So this is 9-10. You guys pushing it forward. Maybe you have been going through some kind of dark. Maybe you may have been getting lots of psychic messages. I feel also you had increased need for rest and relaxation and being left alone by the other people. The Wheel of Fortune, it means it's a shift happening, that certain good things will be going forward, right, for you. These 2 major arcanas are adding to 19, which is the Sun card. You guys will definitely need lots of rainbow, lots of sun energy. It's going to be highly beneficial for you. Mother of Wands, it looks like it's going to be a week where lots of things will be happening in terms of you want to do it. Especially if you guys want to do anything legal that has to be done legally. It can be done, even though now this is confusing, and I really think this is talking about the Moon card, but I also think that is going to change toward the end of the week. Compromise. Yes, isn't this looking like Libra? I don't know if you guys are having to do anything with Libra. This is simply talking about this Libra transit. So yes, I would not do anything until the 23rd. And then 23rd later, things will really work out later. So not the right time means that it's almost like, because this is linking to me in my head with the Moon card, and I really think, you know, this kind of like means don't deliver half-baked stuff, and that's why I was obsessing with the message to you guys as well. Maybe this is also telling me you gave this message prematurely. But it says compromise. It says, hey, you know what? I can do certain things. I have to figure out, instead of 10 things, how to do smaller things. So in order to create a happy outcome, I believe this week, just you need to allow yourself some time to kind of like really become clear, because the moon is all about not having that clarity. Have you ever been in a forest in the middle of the night? I live next to this huge park over here in Toronto, like literally, like 50 meters down. It's a huge river, and there's like huge flooding in Toronto in 1954. So now they're not allowing things to be built, and you know that park is gorgeous. And then you go there at night, it feels like uncomfortable place. So night changes our perception, and that's why the Moon card really talks about it, right? So this is telling you need to kind of like wait and to kind of like get that clarity. Same thing here, so that the light has to come through, right? And it's really darkest at the dawn before the light, right? So you need to work literally on agreement with people, and that's why I can see that here. Wheel of Fortune means patience is going to be a virtue for you guys over here. So you need to be open to cooperation that will really get what you need, but you will also be very much helpful to the other people and kind of like assist them in helping other people fulfill their desires. Will be very important. You need to be very objective. This is Jupiter energy. I was telling you about this Jupiter energy in my newsletter, and I think my newsletters are going to be a little bit more about how crazy I am and what goes through my head, rather than just picking a topic, right, in a kind of like my traditional teacher style. So this is about not only that you will be respecting everyone and everybody else's viewpoint, but also that you guys be very true to your own. You're going to say, okay, how do we do it? where do we go? And I really think, like, with this huge major arcana, whenever lots of major arcana show up, this is not for a week only, that it really goes through much longer. In your case, this is really connected with the full moon in Pisces. There is like something that you really need to close down, and something that you need to move. This is the new timeline. Wheel of Fortune is the karma. That's Saturn, right? You have the moon in Pisces, you have a Saturn over here. We just like don't have Jupiter here, but this actually technically is Jupiter. So when I think about it, no, actually we don't have the Devil card. So which is good. It looks like to me that if you guys had a third party situation, you're kind of leaving it, because one thing is really evident over here, that we do have the moon. But look at this moon, the moon is going to become the sun. It's an absolutely lovely rendition of the card. It almost looks like the medicine wheel or a dream catcher over here. I will also feel you guys will be getting lots of downloads yourself, where you will be getting some information, and hence look at the mummy. And I know that many of you don't like snakes, I get it, but look at this. Isn't she a mummy holding her eggs and kind of like trying to create this comfort? And don't you freaking try to touch her. It's going to be something that is going to be very, very important too. And interestingly that I cut it out on here, it almost looks like total eclipse of the sun. So maybe that's how you're going to feel it, that it's out there, but that you have to kind of like move more cautious going forward with this. The next one, and I have to really speed it up, it's going to be Cancer. So Cancer, 55 55 55 55. You sell your Leo with Libra moon, and I am Aquarius, so Libra rising and moon in Leo. So you see how, you know, like there are so many combinations that you can have astrologically, and yet, you know, like we all here are really, really connected as well. So Cancer, Son of Swords, and Wheel of Fortune, and Temperance. And again, like you guys tell me, we are getting these majors, and like 2 out of 3 is huge, because we only have 22 majors and like a 50, like what, 50 something, 78 cards in total, so 56 cards, right? The rest, so it's like 3 times. It's like, I mean, it would be the other way around, but this is not what has been happening over here. This one wanted to come out. It's up to you. I don't like Son of Swords. I don't. Son of Swords is maybe I shouldn't say I don't like it, because that means I don't like myself. I ask lots of questions. Son of Swords is like blah 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 blah. I need to know blah 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 blah, and they this is like very low social skill. Let's talk about it. And like I lose all my social skills when I need to understand something. Have you ever spoken to a customer service and you're asking them a question and they completely ignore a question and they go like somewhere left or right? But in order for me to move forward and to make my point, I need that question answered. And you repeat the question, again, go left and right. Sometimes people anticipate that they know what you're thinking, they know what you're doing, like just like me, the psychic, or mystic, rather to say. I don't call myself psychic. And people who do that are generally not psychics, and they really don't get it. So answer my goddamn question. Was this order supposed to be arriving by so and so date? Don't tell me, well, you ordered that and that. I'm not interested right now. So this is Son of Swords, which is really teaching us not to get edgy, not to get impatient, and simply saying, okay, if somebody is such an idiot that you really cannot communicate, you need to ask proper questions. You need to find a way, instead of blaming them, to kind of like find their way around them by using your logic, right? So this is really saying you need to be a little bit more thoughtful in order to release this clarity. Remember this clarity, we see lots of stuff coming about clarity. Cancer, are you dealing something with Sagittarians? Because both of these cards, Jupiter, and there's a Sagittarian card showing up over here. Somebody new is coming or did come in your life or is coming in your life or will come in your life. And it might be like somebody from work. It might be somebody who will be very irritating. Like, I mean, this is freaking Aquarius as well. So you might be have a fire sign, you might have air sign, something handling over here. Wheel of Fortune is like karma. It's the shift. So Wheel of Fortune is both Jupiter and Saturn, right? In one card. And it's kind of like really interesting because here we have two cards talking about, hey, be thoughtful. It's very, very important. And generally, you are not a sign that is not thoughtful. You are a sign, if anything, you kind of climb up and you do not hurt. But you also, on the other side, you know what they say, sometimes you stay silent where you really shouldn't be staying silent. Sometimes it's really needing to speak up. Maybe this is simply, in your case, talking about that. Maybe there are like issues that need to be brought in the open. There are certain things that will be moving forward really, really positively in your direction. Wheel of Fortune, yay, celebrate. Stuff are going in a really, really good direction. They're not going to last there forever, but they will move forward, right? I also think there's like somebody coming in your life. Like, she is holding here this like bowl right in front of her heart chakra over here. And there's like something about the end result. There's like a process that you have been going through, or maybe some kind of situation. And maybe in the future you have been taking it more passive approach to this. And now you're taking very kind of like proactive approach. So you need to kind of like really stay in your own power. And yeah, in your case, probably this really talks about, and it's owl, that, and I know I'm pronouncing this in a really weird way, you should see it before, because hell, it's spelled O-W-L, so it should be pronounced O, and whenever I pronounce that, like, everybody's like bursting with laughing, and it doesn't make sense still that it's pronounced as owl, but it is what it is. Guys, happy ending here for you, and not the one in the sexy things, even though I'm not even going there. So this is about waiting and then maybe beginning, because we are going through transit. We are going Virgo to Libra. So this is kind of like you have been supremely patient, waiting for somebody or something. But in order to come to a successful conclusion, this situation requires your unique perspective and experience. And I think for some of you, it will require asserting yourself and saying certain things in a way that maybe you don't really do express yourself that way, but things will really change. Going to be a big shift. The next sign, and this is like now pulling from my hat, so it was just really random, it's Scorpio. So sip of coffee. Scorpio. Scorpio is extremely strong sign, and also Scorpio likes to investigate how much more can we bring and give, and it's testing people as one of the fixed signs in their loyalty. And the entire loyalty is not like about, hey, you told me you're going to take the garbage out. No, you said you love me, I'm going to test you, right? And there we go. We are getting again 2 majors. You're getting lots of cards showing up here. You did get 4 of Swords reversed, which kind of like, I know I told you that I'm generally not looking into that, and your card is coming through it. And you're having 10 of Pentacles. There is also motion forward for you guys. Maybe you have been in a situation, look at that lamp with the third eye waking up. Maybe you have been in a situation where you have withdrawn from things. Maybe you had career focus entirely emphasized over here, but then you got, just as I was telling you, you see, like, cards are like so freaking weird, because I'm already thinking and the cards show up, and I was saying you're going to go through, right, that challenge, like do you really mean it? And what is going on? Like 10 of Pentacles is an extremely strong card. It's really talking about inheritance, and it's really talking about family structures and what you envision as a family, but it's coming combined here with your card. And this is where tarot becomes complex, when you don't look card per card, and most of readers will, oh, this card means this card means this. This can mean the most positive thing in the world if there are other cards around that kind of like can create situation, then all of a sudden it's going to go out the window. In your case, it's not going to go out the window. In your case, it's going to be really interesting. You are, that's like freaking phoenix over here, raising from the ashes. And isn't this like amazing that you're having this right under this, right after this? Because there is like this cocoon, but we can see the butterfly is starting to come out, start to freaking wiggle. Maybe you have been placed in a situation, maybe simply this means that it's like some kind of like work situation over here, or a situation where you're feeling this is it, you cannot do much, you knock on many doors. I don't know which sign this was, Virgo, right? Or Libra. You knock on the doors and they're like locked. In your case, you are regenerating. It's going to be maybe a new method of making money. Maybe it's going to be a new way of how you look at things. That card is extremely powerful for everybody, but specifically for you, because death is transformation. Something is ending. Something has to stop. And you are saying, yes, bringing on, right? Because you know that one door closes, another one opens. So you need to shed what is old and familiar. This is the timeline, guys. Do not fall in the same patterns. You do not jump into that like toxic stew that existed before. Now there's like time to break all habits and release anything that was hindering you to make things and room for something greater. You will feel like uncomfortable in doing that, and that's why you're having these swords. You have been thinking about how to do it and which way to go about it. I can see that. That was like clearly connection, and it was like you were thinking also how this is going to affect your family, your close ones. This can be also your work family that I'm seeing here. In regular Eight of Swords, you would see the blindfolded woman who is not wiggling out because she's too afraid. But not in this deck. I'm seeing that is almost like a force of nature. Do you think this butterfly inside is thinking, oh, it's a strange world out there, I'm not going to go out? Nope. It's saying, I'm going out. That's it. And that's something like that you're going to start to feel, and there is this huge energy. You will feel freaking stoppable. You'll feel you have everything, you can't do anything, you are going to do everything. And it's a perfect timing. I think there's like a nice fix of everything happened the way it should happen. So I don't know what to tell you. I see here DNA over here, and almost like I see this looks to me like an hourglass, and then hourglass is turning into DNA. This is, guys who are listening to me, you did go on the new timeline. And if you don't know what the heck am I talking about, go on my community and see what I posted. You'll have access to my newsletter, which this time I made an exception and posted there because it was important. Please also sign for my newsletter. Either they give you option, I don't know, in newsletter, or you can go on my website cattarot.ca. And please, I want a thumbs up because you can pay me later. So there's like some kind of situation, let's say, that maybe you have delayed or hesitated, and you were like overly analytical and thinking through it and how do I go about it, right? Maybe you didn't feel prepared, but you will just move forward over there. So conditions are ripe this week, and you know, you just trust me, keep moving forward boldly. You have freaking everything. And look at this, like, I mean, what is this? Leopard, like, is looking like almost like razor look in this direction, moving forward. So enjoy it, Scorpio. It's absolutely freaking amazing, right? So knitting yogi, hello. And there you go, Virgo and Aquarius rising. So you see, it's a different combination. It should be denying each other kind of like strengths, but it's actually really, really important. So the next one, as I said, is Aquarius. So aqua girls and boys. Let me have a sip of coffee. Aquarius. Yeah, Scorpio had lots of hard time, and usually this is a sign that you're asked to do something much higher. Oh, like it's like an adult sitting in a grade 1 and he just wants to be, or she wants to be asked how much is 2 plus 2, and karma is saying, get the F out of my classroom, you have to go in a different lesson. And that's kind of like, oh, you're so harsh. Well, yeah, not because I want to be harsh on you, but you can do so much better. That's simply kind of like what kind of like it really works. Okay, I have Venus in Aqua as well, I have Mercury in Aqua, and I have the Sun in Aqua. And here we have like the 8 of Swords repeating. We have Temperance, and again, you cannot freaking make it up. We have 2 majors, Aquarians. So, and it's a big freaking no. Patience. There is like one thing Aquarians don't have, and that's patience. No patience. Or is it, and literally this is going, because I think this deck has no, and has a no, I think, exclamation mark, and then it has a no, a question mark. It's quite a bit of no's over here, and then it's like a not kind of a thing happening here as well, right? So let's start with this, because I'm almost like seeing this Merkaba over here. I'm seeing this is to me the same freaking energy. Yeah, of course. You see, there are like 2 cards in this deck. Not in this deck, in the other decks, that would show a blindfolded person or woman. And it's somebody who's not seeing something. But blindfold to me also means turning inside. And you need to figure things inside, they already exist. So there's like somebody here who is afraid of the outside, and a whole bunch of fears are flowing through this person's head, right? Where this person here, interestingly enough, this card is supposed to show moon, and is showing the eclipse of the sun over here, which means the moon and the sun are in the same position. And this is not also how this card should be portrayed, because it's supposed to have only moon, and that is for the reason that is basically saying that we have a very strong intuition about something, but it could be wrong. In this particular case, and you know that I always go with what I see. Yes, I do fall back on what a card should mean, but I'm clearly an Mother of Swords, which is us Aquarians. Maybe we feel, oh my god, is that what it is? Are we feeling that we really want to change our ways? And are we feeling a little bit sad that we had life where we had so many challenges, where we had so many different things coming our way that made us even maybe a little bit jaded, maybe made us a little bit harsh? And instead of like celebrating that, instead of saying yay, you know, like, I mean, the whole life was about accumulating as much. Some people accumulate things by traveling a lot, so they're accumulating experiences. We have accumulated lessons. So instead of like saying yay, pat myself on the shoulder, things happen. Oh my gosh. And why this brought up, I have this, there's like this interior designer, and if you guys like that stuff, check her out. Her channel is Robison Design. That woman is spectacular, and she's pretty much the one, I'm taking lessons with her, and she's the one who encouraged me to have my own interior design basically channel. But what I didn't know about her is something that she just posted. She just hit 1 million subscribers, and she's not your typical YouTuber as she claims. She's like late in her 60s. Mind you, she looks like she's in her 40s. And she's Aries. which you can clearly see. But she did say, like, I mean, that certain things change her life. So her channel is all about interior decorating with glamour, and also about Christmas. She's like very religious. She's like very like fantastic, like, I mean, how she does stuff. Now she said something in that video, and if you want to watch it, she was trying to be composed, but in the end she kind of like really showed a big heart. It kind of like shows how fire signs and air signs are trying very hard not to be vulnerable. So she said, I really have to tell you, everybody, why I didn't post. She pretty much didn't post almost anything in a year. And she says, on December 23rd, 2018, the best year I ever had on YouTube and live. And I was hoping in 2019. She said, my husband, to whom I was married for 40 years, told me that he has fallen in love with somebody else. Now, her video came on the 19th. Remember how I released that newsletter? So she moved on to a new timeline. She's actually literally moving somewhere. So this was like that whole thing about she has moon in Aquarius, right? And pardon me, moon in Aquarius and Aquarius Ascendant. So this really really reflects this really strongly. So this is talking about there's like still contemplation. We will still be receiving downloads, because this is like freaking being stuck. This is being stuck. This is being blindfolded. Yet this is all making us guys generate certain wisdom, generate certain things. Like, this is really telling me that we have lots of things on the inside where we can continue going further, right? So we need to gather additional information. And remember how I started? Patience we don't have. Well, we better do. So this entire week we'll be sitting on our furry behind, make it cushy, because that's what's going to happen. Look at this, the sun on top of that we are having here as well. And maybe this is why now this actually makes more sense. We are leaving that old timeline, and this is telling me, don't you freaking dare to look back. You Aquarius, you have to move forward. You need to move forward. Go forward. So we need to like untie the loose ends and to see what is what and why is what, because this is really telling us, do not fear, but yes, you still need to sit on it, because Aquarians, we need to make everything understandable to ourselves. Why is this? Remember how I said it's like Page of Swords? Why is this? Why is this? Why is this? And then other people go, oh my freaking God, just please shut up, right? But we need to get these answers in order for us to function, in order for us to even move forward, right? That's kind of like how we gather information. And only when we get this information, we are capable of, oh, now I can sink in emotionally, because this is what this card is really talking about. It is a decision between a head and a heart. Well, I would say go with your head this particular time, and you need to be patient with yourself and everything, because things will start to sink in. And do not give in that things cannot be done, because I really feel there will be people this particular week, Aquarians, who will tell you, well, no, you're not moving forward, things are not right, blah blah blah. You can say you can say, okay, fine, but inside you will say to yourself, we'll see about that. Yeah, we'll see about it. Like, for example, I wrote to City Council here in Toronto. There's a dog park where I go to, which has huge fenced in areas. And they're calling this a tree protection zone, which is lovely. I like to protect trees as well. But there are lots of trees in the non-fenced in areas where dogs are not destroying those trees. And the problem is, like, I mean, they're locked with a big lock. So when my frisbee or my ball falls in, it stays there. And I don't know how much you know about the dogs. They're freaking expensive. The ball is like $40. So I wrote to them and I said, I would like to get to my balls, and I don't want to climb over the fence. So I'm getting this answer, no, this stays locked. And I said, well, that can be used for maybe even little puppies or little dogs. No, this stays locked. And I'm thinking to myself, says who? Who the hell you are, right? Like, nobody. You're not God. You're not this. This is not happening. So I guess this week is not going to be the week to kind of go forward, but it's clearly saying certain things will come back. Certain things will kind of like have to be looked into again. So I have a feeling that little park will either get a lock that we can go into these places, or it's going to be reviewed. So the next one is going to be my dear Sagittarius. Sagittarius. So let's see Sagittarius. Sagittarius. And guys, as I told you, so everybody here who is coming here, who is following me, hello, including you, my dear, including you, is connecting to all signs. And that's because your energy is getting on a much higher level. Do you love everybody? That was very quiet. Can you repeat that? Savvy? Do you love everybody? And again, it is too quiet. She's just, that's all I heard. I don't know if you heard that. Right? I think we are kindred spirits. I'm kindred spirits with all of you guys. You know, I'm so proud. Like, I mean, what is that I have this channel now? Almost like 3 years. Is it? No, 2017? Oh my God, almost like 3 years is going to be in February. And I think I had some people who were completely freaks, who were even moderators at some point. But I think it was 4 or 5 of them in its entire time. Check the other channels, like this negativity, it's almost like a toxic freaking stew. So isn't this nice to have, like, I mean, one place where we can have, hey, this is fun, we can kind of like really, really enjoy it, right? So let's do that. Who the heck are you? Oh, all right. Sagittarius, Capricorn is next. Let's see, Sagittarius. And then after Sagittarius, I'm going to do you guys want me to do Lenormand after Sagittarius? Or do you want me to do it in the end? Let's do it in the end, maybe. Your card, oh my gosh. Like, isn't this every single one? This is the 7th sign that had at least 2 major arcanas. And like we having this repetitive messages. This is Jupiter, guys. Jupiter is like about balance and decision. Are you some Sagittarians divorcing? There's like something going on here. Look at this, the moon and the eclipse of the sun over here. And again, we are coming to like this cocoon and the butterfly emerging over here. But generally, usually this represents the death card. But here, again, look at this. There is like this motion. Something will be happening for you, Sagittarians. The Emperor is about strength, and the Wheel of Fortune is about a karmic cycle. It is like clearly asking you to move and push forward in a kind of like in a direction that is going to be very positive. So this is about authority. This is about being in control, right? This is about appreciating new options. This is about karma and destiny, as I told you, right? But like, I mean, the Emperor is more or less, I mean, this has the astrological correspondence to Aries, but this is like really masculine energy. It's the father influence kind of a thing, authoritarian. It's almost like you will need to calm this chaos down, like something that is going, like, what do we have this hiding here? Oh, the web we weave. And again, you know, Sagittarians, I used to see this happening. Look at this. You know what this tells me? Oh, how do I put this that you don't kill me? And it doesn't have to be necessarily you. It could be how you are being perceived, or it could be that it's happening to you. So keep that in mind as well. Catch Me If You Can movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. Remember that movie? So how did he manage to pull the scam on everybody? He was dressed up to the nines to the story that he wanted to lie and present. He had his expensive watch, the Rolex was on. So he would pull that crap on people, right? Look at this, because this talks about almost like some kind of like ugliness, right? Confusion, things being superbly messy. Maybe you have been thorn with issues. Maybe because this really tells me that you have been thinking a lot. And there was like lots of pain in your life, guys. What's that? What's that? What's that? Somebody's vacuuming outside. But they're doing a good job. You're going to be clean. Tiger, you go and watch that. You go and control this. Go. Yeah? Sorry guys, because this guy is starting to be a guard dog. So any noise or something, he is... Hey, it's okay, dude. It's okay. So this guys is really telling me that there is like also something that needed to happen for you. Maybe you had a third party relationship over here, right? Maybe there were details that you haven't been privy to, that you had to have obtained, or somebody needed to get from you, that has been brewing in the background, right? You are feeling that there is a big switch over here. Now you're finally feeling in control. It kind of like really feel that you have been almost like reduced down to the basics, which is good. You didn't see it being good as much. Maybe you felt attacked. Maybe you felt, oh my goodness, what's happening next? What do I do? In which direction do I go? Then you have like these 2 8s showing up over here. This is like about commitment. You might be dealing with Aries. You might be dealing with Sagittarius, another Sagittarius. This might be just you. Might be dealing with Aries, as I said, or with the air sign, which is kind of like also very kind of like highlighted here. You really still have a little bit clouded vision about how to move forward, but you're taking a step back. You know how they say you cannot see forest from the trees because you're too freaking close to the tree? So you need to move back from the situation. This is really telling me you were getting way too engaged in the situation or something that is happening. You were really trying to push that wheel. It's kind of like almost like you were forcing things through. People don't like, especially when you have a strong opinion, and I mean, I am one of those crazy people. Strong opinion about something, and when this is conflicting with somebody else's opinion, you tell it in a strong way, people dislike you, kind of a thing, right? So something like this might be happening over here, right? It says listen up to your intuition, right? Because you spent way too much time in your head. You also were wondering how to do things financially. There was like thinking about the finances, but also about relationships. Like there is like this essence of my hands are tied, I cannot do anything, right? And then here it is, like she has like this head full of butterfly, and there is like this big freaking heart happening over here. So you guys really at this stage, you really need to find your modus operandi, how you deal with things. Maybe you have been dealing with things in a very factual way. This is what it is, and this is what needs to be done. This is telling you kind of like step aside. Maybe you're still not going to have all the answers. And because she's blindfolded, remember how I told you in the previous reading, blindfold to me means you only have to go and draw upon resources that you have inside and listen. You know, listen what people say. Listen what is going on, right? And then we have listen cards showing up. So this is like to me about your inner guidance, right? And listening to that, it almost like tells me you cannot go wrong. You're a little bit afraid in your intuition because your intuition did not serve you well. I have a feeling it was like at least 8 months, 3 to 8 months, the things have been derailed for you. But things are happening differently right now. You're having this karma card showing up here, and you're having like listen to intuition. So have faith in your feelings about the circumstances you're experiencing. You're saying to yourself, instead of me feeling sorry for myself or having this anticipation of something really bad will happen to me, kind of like fear of the future, kind of like if you wish, You need to move to this new timeline. But you don't see the door because you're too close to the problem. So close your eyes, meditate, pull it in. Your insight into other people and what they truly feel will be perfectly accurate this particular week. So you know what, guys, you don't need to question things, because you will for sure have ability to know what is really true this particular in this particular time. So Sagittarius, this is a really strong reading, because usually with Sagittarians, and I think this is like a turnaround point for you. So wow, I didn't realize that you guys are going to move forward in such a big direction. Okay, so you guys agree. Kylie also said at the end, agree with Kylie in the end. So okay, so you know, guys, that in the end I'm going to give a little bit more time with this, right? So sorry about my dog scaring me. So yeah, on headphones, like, I mean, you can here's like a really powerful sound. He's like a small dog, like 40 pounds, but 40 pounds would be like about 17 kilos, right? So let's see, another sip, and the next one is Capricorn. So is Mr. Chris still here? Let's see. I think it's one Capricorn. Anybody else has Capricorns over here? Capricorn in Vedic horoscope, I have lots of Capricorns, ridiculously amount. My Venus is in Capricorn there, so it's really interesting. I'm continuously comparing this and that, and I still find that Western works way better for me than Vedic, when Vedic should actually be better. So that's what is confusing. Capricorn. Capricorn. And got a Tower reversed. Did you not get my email? The Tower was the card, and I have to do the cards today. I usually do about 7 to 10 days in advance when I do card of a day, and I have to ask the programmer to fix a little bit my draw the card on my thing, because it doesn't come across really well on phone. It works really well on computer. But the Tarot card reverse is not necessarily great news. Why? Because it tells me that you're actually really not aware that the forest is burning. So get the freaking out. This is really telling you need to burn certain things behind you. Your earth sign, you don't have the tendency. Oh, look at that. You only got one major, but you got 2 6s. Whoa. Oh my God. You are getting powerful messages here. But you're getting like these two. So why is this Tower then reversed? This is the soulmate combination. This is a soulmate card over here. This is about climbing mountains and reaching this peak and telling you yes and yes and yes, you will be able to do that, right? Look at this. Like, I mean, what is this? Aren't they both wands? Okay, now I'm completely confused. What is this? See, if I saw these 2 cards, I would say they're wands, but I think these must be something else. So it would be 6 of Cups, 6 of Wands, 6 of Swords. I guess one is Swords, one is Wands, I would say here, and that would make sense. Yeah, that would be that rain. Maybe you guys had issues in relationships or in some kind of unions where there was lots of call for collaboration. Look at these roses, they're fully intact over here. Something is really going on. Just want to see how the swords are. No swords are presented. Are those swords? Yeah, these are swords if you really look at it. So 16, 18, 21. Yep. This is the World card that is really adding to. And 21, and then we have 12 over here. So as you can see, 12 is giving that indication of some kind of like status quo, of kind of like maybe stagnation. Maybe you're feeling comfortable where you are. But this is telling you don't feel comfortable, because there's like something that really, really needs to happen. The reason why you're feeling comfortable is like everything is like moving on properly in your life. You're not feeling there are any issues. And this is, remember what I said in my newsletter, deceptive. Something will happen. It is really asking of you to really see what is really not built properly. Sometimes in order to get along, like, I mean, that's why the soulmate card, this is like what it is, shift on different timeline. This means for you in particular, you can shift together with this person, but things need to be different, right? You know, this Aquarian card that we got it, reconsider, right? You guys are not reconsidering something. You really are not. You're looking things from different aspects. Look, you pretty much have everything. You have pentacles, you have swords, you have wands, and you have cups, right? And this belongs to basically Mars. This is like a tremendous energy. That's something that has to kind of like fall down. But when the Tower reverses, that means that sometimes things are just happening. You're seeing the forest burning, but you're sitting on the porch and drinking coffee instead of freaking packing and leaving. That's what the Tower reverse really talks about, is like denial and avoidance of something. Maybe you don't want to approach something or somebody of fearing, like saying, oh, I finally stabilized this, I really don't want to rock the boat, kind of a thing, right? Nope. This is really telling you this is exactly wrong thing to do. Now it is the time. When you get along, it's the time to really talk about it, right? So you need to, almost looks like there's so many good things going over here, but there's an element of your plan that should be evaluated. So you really need to kind of like take time to think through it. Because like 6 of Wands, really, really good. That's the victory card. You're feeling, hey, I'm top of the world. Everything is working well. Except sometimes things will get really shaken when things kind of like don't work well, right? This is really not the moment to make changes in your life. That much I know over here. Almost like I think that you have some new ideas, and I would advise you to share your intentions with somebody who's really trusted friend or advisor, so that way you're pushing these ideas in the universe, right? Maybe they will be able to tell you the kind of like holes in the kind of project. And keep in mind that yes, that something needs to be rebuilt. You are not in a phase where you need to kind of like make change in your life. This is more or less telling you to reconsider where you are, what you're doing, and how you're going about it. Lots of good things happening for you. Look at that freaking rainbow. Are we not seeing rainbow everywhere? This is really speaking to you. So the reason for that is like you guys will be having something completely different transformation for yourself, right? And asking you to rebuild things. Look at that. She's the Queen of Swords. There's like the Celestial Sword. She's having her third eye open. She is having, and you see the palms, I opened those chakra in my school. This is basically the 12th chakra. This is very powerful. And when I open this chakra, you can actually heal. And you're feeling like you just need to open this, and you're feeling almost like as if you have fireballs in your palms, and people, whenever they touch me, they think I'm a little mini furnace. And when you put me in the room kind of like gets the higher energy, which is very uncomfortable for me, I have to tell you. That's why I like to take cold showers. But Capricorn, this is really good, but it's really telling you that you really need to check and see if everything that you have right now is built on proper ground. And it is something that you will really be hesitant to do or not willing to do, because the Tower came reversed. But this is actually very important, because it will go glitch free. You will not be screwed up in any way, shape, or form, right? So that's for you. So the next one will be Taurus. I put the wrong timestamp, of course. Well, of course, there's my eraser here. Eraser. So, Taurus, let's see what we have here for you. Did I not have the cap? Oh, the cap is here. All right. Taurus, you guys clearly do not like me. Oh well. I am still going to do the reading for you because I know partially it is YouTube algorithm. And you know what? What I really dislike about YouTube is that they are basically at this stage almost like encouraging superficiality. It's like encouraging people who will jump out the building and say, oh, look at this, I'm jumping in the meat suit of the building. And that's going to get millions of views. These messages are going to be buried in, just like that's the download that I keep getting. And I need my messages to go forward. And you guys, Taurus, are overly pragmatic, and you're saying to yourself, well, you know, if this is rated more, like this means so much more. No, you guys really need to go through that shift yourself. And yeah, you need to start heading toward the light. This is also very important. I really think that you're feeling a little bit maybe defensive this particular period of time, and you really need to decide whether you're going to listen to your inner voices, or you're going to be listening to what you feel is right. This is like a lot about reactivity that is happening for you this particular week. You do feel that people are against you. You do feel, and I am really sorry, but I have to say, whenever I'm reading for Taurus, I'm thinking about my stepdad, right? My dad was a Leo, but his stepdad is Taurus, April 24th. And because he has frontotemporal dementia, and also vascular dementia, and also stroke, and also heart attack, at this stage his brain is shrinking so much that he is not even capable of understanding that he is in a big doo-doo. Instead, he is calling people names. He is very abrasive and very abusive. And I saw this card, and honestly, first thought was about him. It was like, maybe he's struggling in the dark over here. Maybe this is like the kind of like challenge, and he's trying to justify things because, oh my gosh, that man could have done anything. That's when you are watching somebody with extremely high intelligence, with no education, who had managed to figure things out, including the combination of the medicines that he needs to take, how to fix the car, how to fix the windows, how to fix this. Now he has this false belief that he can still do it, and he has this big trust. And I think you Tauruses are on the good path because you are believing in yourself, and you are putting your heart into everything to this project. This, however, for example, is not valid for my dad because his information coming to him is coming from the darkness. Maybe this could be last lucid moments for him, because the Father of Cups is like really good. That's the King of Cups really showing up over there, right? So this also can talk about certain comfort, because look at this, for you guys, happy changes. Look at that, this huge light coming through and shining down. And the Father of Cups is literally my unicorn, without him making faces, with basically just being there for you. Maybe you simply, guys, need people to love you, to take care of you, to feel emotion. My dad cannot feel emotion anymore. When you have frontotemporal thing, you become cruel. You become mean. So this clearly doesn't apply on him, other than this card. For you guys, there is like anything but cruelty. You'll be gentle, you'll be loving. You will feel that the environment responds to you this way. Some of you will meet somebody who is just like that. It might be a man or a woman who, let's say, would not be your first pick. Let me put it that way. You are maybe going out on a date and you're looking at this person and you're saying, well, sparks are really not there, but yeah, person is really pleasant, so let's maybe stay around and have, let's say, a meal together. You're kind of like saying to yourself, right? And you also saying to yourself, well, I shouldn't really be judgmental about that. Or you Taurus are maybe going out with somebody like that. Or if you guys dealing with Taurus, somebody like, you might be coming across to them like that, right? And then all of a sudden, you're starting to feel this greatness of this person, like something start to like just peek outside. Like, I mean, they just like maybe put the fork down and just looked at you and they say nothing, but it's almost like this God's light coming through, right? Then you're realizing that they're actually restraining themselves because their energy is so freaking high that they would overpower you. Look at that energy, that they will literally, oh my gosh, look at everything turn into blur on my screen, because that's exactly what will happen. You'll feel, oh my gosh, somebody just removed that veil, the wool over my face, and you're going to see this person as perfect, as freaking perfect. And then like you will realize, I have everything, I need everything. These big changes are coming in your life. You guys are moving forward, like there is like this complete understanding. Yes, I am entering something new relationship, new career, maybe moving to a new home, maybe moving to a new city. If you didn't plan already, and if this is not the week for action, for leap, you're clearly making those decisions, right? So you really need to feel excited. You're embracing. Maybe somebody's simply telling you, oh, how about, let's immigrate to Canada. It is a time before this freaking global warming kind of like hits the space. And like you'll say, what? Actually, no, that happened to me. That's literally what happened to me. I had everything. I had my job. I was like, a teacher in a school, and I had my own house. Kind of like relatively good position in a community, and it just happened like that. I was walking downtown, and it was an ad for a babysitter, and I was like, oh yeah, babysitter, no, but it's in Canada. I can learn English and French. I went, and I had a full-time job. It's really hard to get by any jobs in Croatia, and I put my application, and 2 months later, I was here. Changed the course of my life just like that. It was like that tower moment. It was like the death moment. So in your case, it's not going to be anything that drastic, but you're also asking something of yourself that it kind of like requires this like few somersaults, few leaps of faith, right? Something that maybe has frightened you about your ability, something that maybe you felt, well, other people will not go along about that, right? But these options are now presented to you, and unless you're not ready for them, unless you're still thinking, oh, let's step on the brake, kind of going to past, this is a time for you guys to release your fears and follow your heart. This is clearly make a plan, have a structure, have a system, have a strategy, stand your ground, but ultimately, open your heart. There's like somebody who really wants nothing but good for you in your life, and it's going to be absolutely lovely time, guys. So fear not. Okay. We are going next one to Aries. So I'm going to catch up with what you guys are doing here. Okay, so Kelly, received an offer in my email to pursue the study path you advised me. You see? Did you see that? You guys, I don't want to toot my horn, but like my readings are really weird. Really weird. I don't go by, he's going to have a brown hair, or you're going to have a pipe in his hand. Like, it's to me ridiculous. I'm just like taking you up on the top of the mountain. And sometimes people write to me like I'm in and said, well, Kat, I was just listening to my reading. I don't even remember this client anymore, right? And then I kind of Google, oh, I had a reading an hour, like a year and a half ago. And it was like everything happened. And she said, at the time of the reading, I really didn't know what to mean. So, hi, Aries. You are next. And my Starbucks coffee is almost like to the end. It looks like Lenormand is going to be fully without coffee. You guys want to see how OCD I am? Look, it has to match. I can drink coffee, but I will feel uncomfortable without it. So the face has to be over the face, and where I drink has to be just in the same line. And that could be OCD, that Virgo in me kind of a thing. So there you go. So we have Two of Swords, Aries. We have Three of Swords. We have Five of Swords. I told off my brother, and he's Aries. Because sometimes he thinks he's my father, and so I really put him in a place with few FUs. Kind of like we are right now on a standby kind of a thing. So 2 and 3 and 5. Now this is really interesting. So it is the energy of 10 of the Wheel of Fortune. It is a karmic energy. It is like clearly about being hurt. And this is about, you know, feeling, when 5 of Cups happens, and look at this, you know, like when you cut the worm, and this is like such a gross image, it still wiggles, both ends are wiggling. It's really talking about everybody loses over here. And this is like Son of Cups. It's very similar. This is to the Father of Cups, or the King of Cups. That is like that offer and vulnerability and opening your heart after somewhere being stuck, after, could be like literally stepping on somebody's territory, because this comes back to Hierophant and some kind of rules, and or maybe like there was a clash of rules and your reality is not what my reality is. But this like Two of Swords is generally always talking about it indecision, and it's talking about, well, I don't know in which direction you go, you lots of questioning, but you're really not doing many things, and then you're actually moving in this direction, which almost like say you have chosen the wrong direction. This can talk about interference, about the outside forces of some kind of like kind, right? So Three of Swords, yes, it can talk about a third party. It can talk about being in a situation where somebody is like really messing with you, and the information you're getting is not necessarily correct information. It is really telling you like that you have a clear solution over here, like I mean proposed. It is like Son of Cups. So this night, it's not something that is going to stay, because you guys don't necessarily have this like lovey-dovey attitude. You're kind of like very resolute. You really know how you're kind of like moving kind of like forward, because after all, this is also a resolution kind of card when it kind of like turns around. All fives, this is a 5 and this is a 5, and that's why together they come to Wheel of Fortune, right? This kind of like can talk about some kind of forgiveness, or maybe you'll be forgiven, or you'll be forgiving something to someone. There's like the understanding of the situation, there is like reunion of the situation that is happening, but at the same time, by doing that, this is what karma is kind of like almost like requesting you to do. This is kind of like almost like it's going, you know, my cousin Winnie, like, you know, that I make lots of musical and movie references because that's also my passion. So, you know, my cousin Winnie, like when on the radio, she was like hitting the floor with her stilettos. It's like, okay, I'm hearing my clock ticking, my biological clock ticking, right? So because this card here is really talking about healing and being inspired, and there's like something that this, and also can you see these bookends on some of these cards over here, like something that really needs to push forward over here, right? So there is like something that has created pain that is now feeling better. It's almost like if you have a glass of wine or water, doesn't matter, you leave this liquid overnight, in the morning you're really not inclined to drink it. It's just like yucky and gucky kind of a thing. So this kind of like yucky and gucky parts need to be refreshed and recleaned and re-optimized. There's like something like that happening. This card is also about success, interestingly enough, but not necessarily the kind of success that you really dream about. It's not like dream of celebrity and I'm going to make this freaking killing and everybody's going to be looking at me, which kind of like sometimes your dreams, your hidden dreams that you really don't share with people take you in that direction. This is going to be success, but at a cost. Success where somebody else's loses, which is not karmic success. It's only temporarily success. And this is exactly what you really need to question, even though it's kind of like saying, okay, you're back and everything. This usually says that this success is on the backs of somebody who loses, right? But success nonetheless. This means it's on the road, and you know that something can work out beautifully over here. So maybe you should really look for win-win situation instead of like I win, you lose, right? Your first sign, as a first sign, your duty is not to refine things, right? This redefinement happens in Taurus, this happens in Libra, and happens in Capricorn, right? Your job is to take the freaking door down because the house is burning. You are a fireman, you have to take people out of fire, right? So this to me really speaks really loudly to you, because look at her, she's reaching out. I really think that part of living a successful life is also taking care of yourself. And it is like something that some signs, especially the later signs, like Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces need to learn. Because this is almost like gratefulness is forced on you over here, right? Because yes, you may have many things that you're grateful for, but you really need to make sure that you really don't wear yourself down. And maybe you have subjected yourself to doing things for the others and not getting, any kind of like return out of this. So I really think this is kind of like peace. Tells me peace. Tells me lay down your sword. Maybe you are going to also decide to lose the battle in order to just say, okay, maybe this is better, moving it forward. Look, that's not a single major arcana, a part of the sign. So it's kind of like weird. I was like taking them up from the hat, and that's kind of like how they really work out. So it's going to be interesting. So the next one will be Gemini. Let me just put the timestamp for Barbie. And Barbie, guys, you guys need to kind of like really tell Barbie that you're grateful. I am certainly very grateful. She does such a wonderful job in helping me. I cannot say how much this is important to me. And then I see people storming down on her and said, Barbie, you missed this timestamp. And this is like me. I am sending this to her. Even though before she would go out of her way to create all these timestamps, and I start feeling bad. So, Gemini. Did you guys like this? Did you guys say, yeah, I like this? Did you guys say, Barbie, thank you? Because she's also making sure you guys get your reading as well. So, Gemini, you have Daughter of Cups, Ugly Duckling, you have Son of Swords, of course, and you have the Empress. Mother, son, and father. Ugly Duckling. Do you remember the story? Ugly Duckling was an egg put under a duck. It was a much bigger egg, and it didn't break out when it was the time to break out. And the duck was saying, okay, I'm going to sit a little bit longer. And it was like this freaking, furry thing, ugly thing that came out. And it's like, oops, oopsie, right? And didn't learn how to swim properly. It was like awkward and weird. And mother being a mother, I love you anyway. But it was really, really picked on so many times. to the point that they started to feel self-esteem issues and not belonging, to the point that it was attacked all the time and being bullied. So it would escape to this world of fantasy. It would escape to the world sitting on a shore and looking at the other birds, especially at swans, who were so beautiful, and kind of like wondering, right, how beautiful would be that I'm that beautiful, but I can still admire these beautiful birds. And then harsh reality would kick in, and the winter showed up, and in a harsh winter, like, was so bullied, and it kind of like, look, you need to lay the eggs if you really want to stay here. But the boy couldn't lay eggs, so it was kicked out of the house and went until the farmer found it, and was already freezing and was already dying. I was like taken to this farm, and it was like a little story about a cat there. I'm not going to go into that. It's also kind of like, hey, you need to do something to deserve it. The farmer like really took that little kind of ugly duckling under his arm and carried to the barn. And that's where the things spend the winter, knowing, oh, they are going to realize I cannot lay eggs. I have to leave. But at this stage, too much time took on its esteem, and he decided, I'm going to kill myself. And I really want a death in the best possible way. I want a death like under the sun. And I want a death. I want these beautiful birds to kill me because I feel that energy is going to really come to me. So it's coming in the water. And then all of a sudden, he's realizing the birds are not attacking him anymore. And he's looking around and seeing admiration. And he's seeing these two beautiful birds coming toward him, and he's saying, there it comes. They're going to tear me apart, and I'm going to die glorious death. And as he is bowing his head down, anticipating the kill, he's looking in the water, and he's realizing that he has grown up in a beautiful swan. So this is the story, guys, here, that you have gone through some unbelievable growth over here. And you are kind of like no longer on a slippery ground. You are no longer picked on. You're no longer asked to do something that is impossible for you to do. You are right now going to feel comfort. And these very uncomfortable questions that you asked, that you needed to know, that you wanted to find these answers, and you wanted to see where you belong, and that's why you have the Son of Swords, is now materializing into something that was really important to wove your fabric of who you are and what you are doing. You're getting this Empress energy. Empress is, again, it's about the new moon. It's going to be something really important, guys, happening toward the end of this period, guys. The Empress is a very feminine principle over here. It could be that you are finally realizing your own value. You're finally realizing your own strength. You're finally realizing that you need to care and take care of yourself. You know, this is also Venus. It's manifestation of beauty. It's a manifestation of creation. If you guys had issues with your mother or with family, this is going to heal right now. This is going to be reconnection. You guys will be connecting with the natural world over here, right? You will feel this nourishment. You will understand your own beauty that you actually didn't even think exist. And it is a perfect timing. This week for you, my dear Gemini, is going to really feel that you are who you are. That this is a new timeline. You guys are going to be very gentle. That harshness that everybody was attributing to you or scolding you or pushing you, you always had to go somewhere else. You never felt that you kind of like belonged. It's gone. It's gone. They're like different things. And look at this, the Emperor always showed up. For some of you guys, you need to shed any relationship, any connection to things and people who did not give you credit, who did not want to shelter you, who did not want to give you soft place to fall. Because there is like a time for you, and you don't have to be nervous, you don't have to feel unaccepted. It's going to feel much, much more different. So, Pisces, you're the last, and you're the last sign, and I said this whole reading today is going to be an hour or less, including Lenormand, and look at that. But I hope you don't mind spending Saturday morning with me. So, Pisces, let's have a big shuffle. Big shuffle. Love your Gemini icon, Barbie. Absolutely lovely. Okay. Pisces. Ace of Wands. Two of Pentacles. And Three of Pentacles. I know that Ace of Wands is not always interpreted this way, but Ace of Wands, to me, it is really telling me taking something off the back shelf and putting it forward. Something that you seen, it was the book that you really wanted to read it didn't make sense, and all of a sudden it starts to make sense. Ace of Wands is like this new regeneration of some kind of like sort. It is like almost like about relationships and connections, and I don't know if you guys are connecting to Gemini in some kind of reason. Maybe you have people who to you maybe appear two-faced, because I don't know if you can see it from the sun. This is about this energy of climbing the mountain, and it will be really, really hard for you. I mean, two cards came out. It will be really hard for you to kind of like do it on your own, but you really need a power, and you need a structure of some kind of like sort. You need to really work with people who are in charge. Almost like it feels like you're either dealing with priests or church or popes or whatever, imams, whatever it is, like your thing, or dealing with bosses, or dealing with big structures. You're dealing with CEO, with corporations, and somebody came with a hammer down, and you literally have to work within that system over here. That's why you have like these Two of Pentacles, this kind of like juggling thing. Maybe you're also trying to put yourself on a firm ground, because Two of Pentacles sometimes to me talks about life, and the life gets in the way, and sometimes it's up and sometimes it's down, but not in this deck. It's exactly even, and there is like this rainbow energy going over here, right? So let's see what is hiding over here. Six of Wands, Nine of Cups, and Son of Cups, which is you. This is you guys. So we have your energy coming through. So there is like some kind of shyness that I'm picking up on over here, and discomfort, because to me this is about balance, right? And renewal, and feeling that other people are there for you. You also need to be very adaptable. You really need to kind of like figure out how to go through processes and through things with the help of other people. You literally have to enlist other people and find who is there for you. To me, this is the ultimate card of friendship and cooperation and teamwork, right? But it's also about solutions. It's also about confidence. And then there it is. Maybe you have been wondering how to do things financially, and hence, hey, it's not going to get through drip, drip, drip. It's going to freaking pour over here, but it's not going to be lottery. It's going to be something that you do. So don't look into easy solutions. They're like something that you have been doing, but then you're getting that almost like a gold approach over here happening within the next few months. So full moon in Pisces, you guys are almost like governing who is coming through that light, who is not coming through this light. And yes, I think it does make sense, because you have decided with this full moon that hammer is coming down to the transition of Libra. That would make sense within the next few months. But even for you, this is almost like divine timing over here for yourself. Isn't this kind of almost the same? It's like life bursting. This is not only about you, but this is absolutely for everybody else, because I feel that in the next few months, what you're asking is going to occur. This is almost like divine timing over here. So other people and their free will choices will be kind of like involved in this, right? So you need to keep the faith, because I almost like feel the pieces of the puzzle need to be put together. You cannot do it on your own. You absolutely can't. That's why we got this card. You need to enlist other people, and you need to know with this new timeline who is with you or who is not. So do not build a bridge with people who are trying to use the drill and just like undermine you all the freaking times, right? So situation is resolving itself beautifully, and you will at one point see this opportunity kind of like really coming through it. So grab it. You may have been seeking, like, you know, to manifest new changes in your career. As I said, like when I looked into that, maybe there's like, because we have pentacles, something kind of like of a real estate. Maybe you want to jump in the real estate career over here, but this is also about romance coming in your life, or your heart opening to receive. So this guy is lovely, and I really think that you are not going to feel like that you are on some kind of like muddy ground. You're finding your sea legs. You are like water sign, and you also, let's say you're in the river, it is passing by, it's a muddy ground, you have to find your stability, but you also need other people to pull you out, and that's what you really need to work on. So once when it appears, stick with it, continue with that, because it's going to be really, really good for you. So this is the main piece, and now I'm going to do Lenormand, and Lenormand is for all signs, guys, right? So that is going to be something that is maybe different, and I'm not going to do it all the time. I can do Lenormand reading for freaking forever, like hour, 2, 3, just one spread, but I don't have to. And this is like where I'm sloppy when I do my own reading. I just put the cards down, okay, and take it off. Like I'm done within seconds. Where you really can go and analyze and extra analyze and reanalyze and find out. And Lenormand is actually really good when I do it live, because the other person goes, yes, yes, because you know, like if you ever got a reading with me, I don't ask questions, because I want you to know that this is all my brainstorm, this is all my analysis, this is all my intuition. And then the people write to me and say, yeah, maybe you didn't call it with this name, but this is what it is. Yeah, this is what it is. So okay. Oh, look at this. You like this? Yeah, and I used to do Gypsy, the entire spread, but you know, like it takes so much freaking time, and with this like algorithm. So I think I got on your nerves sufficiently with doing these little installments of the reading. So maybe I need to stop this, and then maybe I'm going to do mini reading and maxi reading, sort of like, hey, this is a summary, and this is it. So we will see how this goes. So a little bit more of Starbucks, and I feel so bad spending so much money on a freaking coffee, but it is, you know what, look, I have some clients that are swearing by Lenormand, and I like the combination with everything when I do the reading, but it is draining like crazy, and I'm going to do it pretty much just upright in situations. So actually let's do that so I'm not confused, because it's a general reading, it's not a person, and I really try to figure it out, the reversed meanings of this, but it's really not easy, even though I did even buy Lenormand that has these explanations, but I am not agreeing with that. But this way I'm getting actually quite good messages, so we'll go with this one. So let's do it. Lenormand, what's up, mister? What's up? For all signs. He's like mumbling. He's like a very powerful voice. I think he's in full size. On Monday, I'm having a new trainer. So trying to figure out how to get this, you know, herding thing out of the working dog. And I'm going to start teaching him how to clean and put his toys away, so he has something to do all the time. And here I'm not looking at the jumpers. So guys, if you're not familiar with Lenormand, it's a completely different system, and it's almost like lay of the land, kind of like, and it can predict quite a bit of the future over here. So but I am looking with Lenormand in a very short future here. So are we going in the Mercury retrograde shadow? I think it is Halloween. So guys, anything that needs to be done, so Halloween, this is going to be 6 weeks. So if you need to do your presents, buy them freaking now. You have a month. After that, especially if you're buying presents for you, it's going to be really weird. So let's see. Let's put them all down. Well, Tiger is like super cute. He's a smiling dog. He's like a big charmer. He's a womanizer. Well, he's a Scorpio, and he always pays special attention to female dogs, and but he also has some behavioral issues where he would growl big times and even jump on people he doesn't like, and whatever his logic is, I'm trying to tap into that. Not really clear all the time. And kids in particular, it's like, how dare you? You have to sit. So he would be, you know, principal in the school, kind of like continuously disciplining. And I'm trying to kind of like be safer. So he's walking around with muzzle. He hates. He has these, what do you call it? Dew claw, right? This extra kind of like fingers, which generally they try to cut off, and I didn't allow that to happen. I said like, we'll do it later if we need to do, but he is actually using that just like Tom, and he takes this under the muzzle and he pulls it off. Like, this dog is like so smart, and he's understanding words, and I kind of like neglected a little bit training because I was so upset with everything that is going on, and making sure that I'm not being sued, that doesn't jump on a kid, or like, he would not bite a kid, but he would nib, which can boil to the same thing. Why is it here? Something ended. Something needs to end. Why is this coffin in here? Did you guys, you're still thinking about the past lives and relationships, or some kind of like sort, or is it somebody who has violated you as a third party kind of a thing? I can clearly see something like that happening over here. There are like some kind of like issues happening over here. So okay, ruler. Let's do the ruler. So Lenormand is Lenormand, but Lenormand also has houses. Some people just like put another deck of Lenormand underneath and then put it on it, and I don't think if you can see it here. Let's lift it up here and to see it a little bit. So give me a few seconds to think, and while I'm thinking, I'm going to upload this for Barbie so she can see this. Okay, that's not this one, that's not this one. Okay, so Barbie is already going to get timestamps. And I'm always getting confused with your emails, and I don't know why one timestamps is being sent 5 million times. Barbie, I'm sending you everything that I have here written. That's what's happening here. Oh my goodness. And you are probably thinking I'm going nuts. I didn't realize this. Okay, now I deleted everything. Okay, so I'll have to do it later. For some reason I just deleted everything. I don't know if you guys are planning some kind of trip of some sort, or dealing with somebody who is over the ocean, kind of like a thing. Some of you might have gotten engaged or intrigued. Like, I mean, some of you may have moved the entire family, kind of like hoping for a better life, hoping to go in a different and new direction. Some of you may had issues with work and kind of like encounter, like, I mean, that's why we have the mountain over here. Like, mountain is both between lady and gentleman. This also talks about, and ladder was one of the cards jumping through, also talking about, hey, you know, the issues is when maybe was received in communication, and maybe somebody just had a bad day, and this bad day is simply kind of like create lots of problems. The child also can talk about this transitioning energy, just like as I said, we have left certain things behind. And I think it was really hard for some of us leaving things behind, especially if things have been, or people have been loyal to us, or things really work for us. We kind of like felt, well, there's no need for getting rid of that, right? Okay, well, let's say this planet is loyal to you, and if it's burning, and it might be burning one day, you know, it is time to leave. We might actually find, and you still cannot see that, so why is this not, just for some reason this is kind of like zooming in for me, and let me see if I can maybe unzoom it, or if it's, I don't think it's zoomed, but it doesn't want to show. It is zoomed. It is zoomed and it's stuck. What the hell this means? What do you mean you're stuck? Get unstuck. No. It's zooming in more, but it's not zooming it less. Or maybe it's weird. I usually have, no, it doesn't want to go down the half. So you'll just have to, sorry, for some reason I am not being allowed to do that. And this is like completely and totally bizarre. But it is what it is. And it removed me from the live streaming entirely as well. What? Is this still happening? It is happening in a really weird way. So the woman is in the house of a trouble. Women would tend to really go somewhere, and there will be things from the past that really need to be dealt with. It's things in your home, that maybe home is where the heart is. It could be internal things, right? The lilies card that we have over here, let me try to put it this way, maybe you'll be able to see it this way. Yeah, there we go. It's probably a little bit better. I don't know, maybe you're dealing with somebody who is either balding, or who is like has gray hair, or maybe you're in need of help with medical thing, kind of a thing. And it was a woman, like, I mean, when I kind of like gave to some people these messages I was getting about healing herbs, so it was, you're not supposed to heal if you're not in a healing profession. One, please do your research, find out what I do for a living. Two, you're on my channel. It's almost like coming to the house and giving people rules. It's immediately getting you blocked. I have lots of people blocked. But here, this is clearly about women would need to see a doctor, guys. There are some issues over here. They're like something that is really happening, because the child is almost resolved. It almost looks like it's going to be something going back in the past that really have to need to look into it. Maybe we are really reconsidering a residence. Maybe we are really thinking what is a long-term kind of like income. Maybe we are feeling tight financially, how we really have to move it forward. And then there's like the mountain. It's like the door is slammed. How do we move it forward, and why and how? We are really thinking like in a really basic way. Well, I need to get a job, and the job is bringing me the money. But this is like almost like reality over here. It might be something that is going to happen with our relatives, or some kind of like sort. It might happen that happens in the winter time, because the mountain extends this timeline quite a bit, right? Maybe there's like something about an older family really in a spread that kind of like I'm seeing over here. some kind of like communication of some sort, or somebody getting really sneaky over here, right? And then we have the sun and lilies, and lilies is in the home of the house, in the house of the house, and the sun is in the house of the birds, and the birds is connecting to the moon. Okay, to you this is kind of a whole bunch of gibberish, but to me actually that makes sense. So there is like some kind of success that is ahead, both in romance and in career, but it's going to be slow. It also kind of like, it could be health issues, as said, but those health issues, especially we see that healing over here, right, in the writer, but the healing is going to be more or less age related, kind of like, if you're saying, well, at my age, you know, I'm supposed to feel this way, you need to think again, because you are not supposed to feel this way. You're supposed to really look into that, right? So it's also kind of like a card of a personal satisfaction. Something within 2 months it will be happening, but then this kind of like worries me about it. So this is in a house of a woman, and it was like something like taking back to the past. We need to cut off some kind of dogma. We need to cut off the way we have been doing things. Very, very important. That's why this kite here is showing up. I don't know, maybe some of you are dealing with an older lover. Maybe you're dealing with an old flame returning. That something might be happening, and maybe it's going to be just like that. It's going to return, and you're going to say to yourself, what? Why am I doing this? I'll come in. How many times I'm going through it? Or some of you might be going to the position that you had and get laid off again in the winter. And then you're going to feel like, oh my God, I have been laid off before, and I'm being laid off again. What in the world am I doing, right? Because I can see that some of you have been working on some new beginnings and new starts starting last month, and maybe in a new relationship. Maybe you felt comfort where you really are. And just like this Wheel of Fortune, and comfort kind of goes down. And now it's a freaking new game. It's a new timeline. Just because you're in a new timeline doesn't mean they are. Unless both, and even though you both can be on new timelines, but not going in the same direction. So keep that in mind. Because this is where we clear some karmic issues, and sometimes when we kind of like just say, okay, c'est la vie, bye bye, I'll see you in the next life, kind of a thing. I love it, I love you, and it can happen, something like that. It will feel different. It will not feel like a devastation, but it's going to feel, I don't want to do it, right? This is happening in the house of whip and broom, or whatever, like, I mean, do it, which is kind of like falling here in the house of the key. So you crack the whip, and all the freaking dust comes up, right? So something that hasn't been movable, like my freaking fence in a dog park. I want this fence to be open. I want access to that. I don't need to destroy your freaking trees. But if the garbage is accumulating there, you need to start cleaning it. Then you want to show up every day and have this ability to give us the stuff. So it's going to be something of that kind over here that is going to happen. Whip means certain things will be really, really happening, right? Over here. For some of you, you might have also secret relationships, both men and women, actually, and you will be a little hidden secret. Do not go for it, because these two cards have this healing symbol. This is really asking you, did you learn that message? Right? You really need to know what you want, what you can expect, and how to move forward. It is going to be extremely important. And if you are not treating yourself with respect, you're going to fall back in a loop. Even though if you're in a new timeline, you will still be kind of like a little dizzy and confused, kind of like how to really go about that. Do not create yourself unnecessarily borders, because something can kind of create a situation where you have obstacles and procrastination. You might be very freaking stubborn about that, right? And then we have like this rider and mountain. Well, it might be slippery slope kind of a thing, climbing this mountain. There's going to be lots of delays. You will ask something and you will get half of the answer, sort of like a thing, right? And you will not necessarily trust something that has been said. It is really interesting, right? You might really feel a little bit isolated, kind of like in the situation, right? So maybe like you wanted security, you wanted stability, and you felt like, shit, it depends on somebody else. I want this, but I have to beg for it. And it didn't feel right, right? Because it's kind of like really weird when also mountain is situated, right? Like on one occasion is prolonging things, and the other things is creating an obstacle, right? So creating the obstacle in the long term kind of like thing where we are going. But at the same time, this mountain and the sun, it's really not a bad thing over here, right? Because it is like something that really talks about, you know, that obstacles are very surmountable, right? So yeah, maybe you don't need to know this entire story, but you kind of like have enough. It almost like tells me like, well, this fish goes back in the sea because look at this. You'll be deeming that somebody has been, let's say, a bad influence. You're going to say to yourself and kind of like almost like find value of yourself and say to yourself, you know what? Yeah, I love you. And I know I have to grin and bear a little bit, but I am moving forward. You'll simply kind of like come up with not trusting somebody. You're going to say, you are lying to me. You are deceitful. You're a con artist. You're like too freaking, you know, slippery for your own good. And you're kind of like going to be tired of this kind of like trickery, right? Because something is going to happen the way you always want it to happen, but you'll feel like this is too freaking good to be true, right? Somebody's coming, somebody's saying, I really want to date you, and everything is offering you heart, right? But look at this. You are cutting it off because there's like somebody who is really not right for you. And you're feeling like, why am I trying and keep trying with this person when I keep having these visions and images and discomfort, and you're telling me one thing, but I am feeling a completely different thing. Look at this fox and a dog. Somebody who is really disloyal, like somebody who has been through with you through grinder, maybe more than once. Maybe you were talking, well, we need to move in together, we will have our finances together, maybe even marriage. Maybe there's like somebody who is like overseas, somebody who is like far, right? Maybe this is a family member that is deceitful. Maybe that's why you have the house and the child over here. Or, you know, like it could be a child support that is not coming, or it's coming, or it's something like with the hooks, you know, with kind of like some kind of attachment to it, right? Maybe you're simply working from home, guys. Maybe some of you are becoming entrepreneurial as well. That actually can be seen, and you're wondering, oh my gosh, is this a good idea? How do I go about that? The Scythe and Cross, it's really interesting combination, right? Scythe is really kind of like here in the House of the Bear. It's kind of like linking back to that, you know, finances or some protectiveness. And sometimes we are overly protective and we build these like big walls, and there's like something karmically happening. There's like something cutting through over here. And it's like something that it can also spell danger. This also can spell pain. It can be like toothache, for example, right? It is a very negative card. It is falling in a woman's house, right? So it also has the clouds cards over here. You need to really pay attention to kind of like anything that you felt, this is it, this must be this way, because you'll be questioning lots of your own attitudes. But I also think, because this is falling in the House of the Lilies, that you are cutting this person who you wanted badly and desperately, and because you move into a new timeline, it almost looks like the person is coming back and you're saying, no, I don't really want you, and I don't know what the hell was I thinking, because all of a sudden you're going to start perceiving this as some kind of danger, right? Something that has created problems for you in the past is going to be refreshed, renewed, and come back. and it's going to come back next month. So that could mean that Mercury retrograde kind of a thing, which brings new partners, old partners, or even a completely new person who is basically bringing the old issues with them. So as I said, you know, this old partner in the new body, it's clearly talking to this October. Sometimes it's going to be very aggressive and very abrasive person. Or women might become abrasive, or men would feel like, oh my gosh, you have really kind of like sharp tongue, I don't know really how to deal with this, right? Kind of a thing, right? But it kind of like feels like, hey, you know what? I'm cutting off this old ties. I really don't know how to deal with this. But the worst part is like, I don't really feel it anymore. It's kind of like sometimes when we want something, we are just like a dog with a bone. And then at one point you have to say, I have to find a new bone, right? Like these two are very negative cards, but these two are very positive cards over here. But this is about destiny. This karmic partner who is coming maybe one more time is just simply to open your eyes to tell you that you're looking at things in a completely different way. So it could be something that is really painful. It could be something that it just comes like that, because to me this kite is like the tower card. I mean, we have the tower here as well. Where is the tower? Tower, but it's not meaning the same. Tower is more or less about the government and structures and the kind of stuff in this particular thing. Maybe you guys are simply going to move, and hence you're going to need to start somewhere, a new job or something, or you're going to move away from somebody. Maybe the times of somebody being overbearing is going to be enough. Maybe this is simply like, I mean, stopping any some kind of like suffering. This is a really bad card, and this is a really bad card. But you see, that's what I'm telling you. You need to really know how to read cards, because together they're really good. You're cutting shit out of your life. Totally. It is enough, and it's going to happen by the end of this year. You're cutting anything that might have even a whiff of, oh my freaking god, there's like something sly, or somebody's not calling you when they say they will call. You're getting a whiff of a new person, a third person or something. You're not going to even ask for explanation. You say, you know what, off you go. If that's what you want, hey, just go for it. Just wash your hands. Not even waste time more than that. So this whole freaking reading is telling me about it's almost like going to be recharging and refreshing and healing and uplifting. And because I'm seeing new dating over here, and like this whole freaking thing is going to be positioned differently. You're just simply not taking the old things anymore, and you're not you're not living here in these kind of like old patterns over here. This is like really extremely important, Lenormand. I really have to tell you. And it's kind of like doing Lenormand en masse like this. I have to tell you, just kind of draining me. I'm feeling like the battery is just like seeing this way, right? But the coffin is falling in the house of the heart, and the heart is like just like, I mean, here on the path. So somebody's laying down the heart, and you're saying, okay, so this is what I was dreaming all about, that you are this wonderful one, and ta-da, here you are, you're a jerk. And what the hell was I thinking? Kind of like you're more kind of like doing, like, I mean, looking that way, right? So you are ending relationships that are not working anymore in your life, right? The tree is healing, the bouquet, you're going to be very happy about that. You're really moving into something new. By next August, guys, most of you listening to this will be new in relationships that will be really, really good. And in order to be in a new relationship, you need to finish something that is turning for the worse, because you're going to start seeing something through completely different eyes. And maybe you're going to be hearing from the other people certain things that maybe you haven't been open to hear before, or that you didn't hear before, that you have been told. So there you go, guys. This is kind of like a really important thing, that we will get exactly what we wanted, but we will not want it anymore. And it's going to be lots of ups and downs. You'll be challenged. Pretty much everything that has been a challenge is going to come back, almost like the last time, to ask you, do you really know the answer to this question? And you'll be dealing with this. So that's my Lenormand for today, guys. Hopefully enjoyed. Like a good 30 minutes of Lenormand. So we are almost 3 hours together and I'm still talking. So I need to eat something. I need to start doing the readings because yesterday I was too drained to do anything. So before my battery is completely run out, I need to do that. So you guys hopefully are going to have beautiful and wonderful weekend and a week. This is going to be a really big one, really big one. And so just make sure that you know you go back to this reading and just get the messages, because this was a really start of something else. It's almost like, and then let be the world kind of a thing, kind of like felt the things will start to happen. So I'm going to play the music. I'm going to give you like this, and subscribe and like, and please kind of like don't forget this. And where is my keyboard? Over here to find it. So Barbie, I'm going to be sending something to you, and don't forget that the next time, oh, who is showing up? Who is showing up? Who is showing up? For the beginning and for the end, there is like somebody who is saying, well, the table is now mine. You see, somebody always coming back, and there is like some kind of like new reclaim, except this one is here to stay. And so are you guys. You know that I love you, and I wish you all the best. And until the next time, let's put this. Oh, maybe I'm not going to put this like because they probably prefer to watch Safi, who is enjoying this healing and rainbow energy. So thank you very much for everybody who has been here, and my email is open to you guys. Get a reading with me, cattarot.ca. And yeah, I should be doing X, but I also should be doing monthlies. Lots of things. Monthlies are going to be super short this time around, super short, 10 minutes or less. X is going to be super short, 10 minutes or less. And then maybe later in the month I'm going to decide to have additional thoughts and something like that. So we will see how this really works. Okay, Safi? Do you love me? Do you love everybody here? Huh? Okay, you see, it was hesitation, but she did think through it, and she said this is kind of like worth it. Love you guys. Thank you, Barbie, very much for helping. Thank you, mods, and we'll see you next time around. Love you. All the best.